Hey guys, decentralization and free access to information here, and I have been feeling distracted and slightly obsessive compulsive. Who'd have thought? I feel that a lot sometimes. And I was trying to sit down my lovely piano here because I'd like to practice, and that's important to me. And I have a lot of things that are important to me, but I find it sometimes hard to have the required focus, engagement, motivation, and necessity, perhaps, to always engage with. I probably said the word engagement, but to engage with things like that sometimes because my mind is very active and I'm thinking about things that are important to me, about questions that pertain directly to my identity, my status as an acceptable human being, what I am, where I fit in, what's important to me, what everything is. And it seems important. Because it directly pertains to my feelings. And when I don't feel good, when I feel bad, and when I'm hurt, or when I make others feel bad, or I hurt others, there's a sense that something isn't right. And I like to be considerate. I like to take in information and think about said information and consider perspectives, consider differences between perspectives to form my own perspective, and to hopefully not make myself and others feel as bad, and to be able to discern and negotiate the best way of going about doing that. And that's kind of a vague way to put it all, and I don't want to get into specifics of what I'm thinking about and where I'm at. I could do that another time. I just want to talk about the way that I feel and how it's so hard to put it down sometimes. And I feel like so much of my identity, what it means to be me, my sense of satisfaction and importance, is built around knowing, understanding, having an opinion, feeling right, feeling like I know, perhaps. Because, if I'm honest, I don't know, and I'm insecure. And there's a lot of important things to think about. There's a lot of important things happening in our world. And it's important to be considerate, to take in information, to consider other perspectives, to consider validity of perspectives, to see how perspectives relate, and to find your own perspective reasonably. Because we have our own perspective. Even when we're taking on another perspective and making that as our own, that's still our perspective. You can't get around it. And I just find this sort of landscape of such accessibility and pressure and tension around thoughts, opinions, beliefs, perspectives, ideas, agreement, disagreement, feelings, right and wrong. There feels to be a tension, a pressure, an importance. And when things are important, when our feelings are on the line, I think that's what determines importance. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot of feelings in our world, and I think we have a duty to acknowledge, to own, and to respond to said feelings, and to be considerate. But I'm stressed the fuck out, and I can't sit at the piano, and my practice is disorganized because I'm constantly away from that moment, and I can't focus on, I'm working on my music, I'm doing this right now, and I need to be thinking about blah blah, this and that, information, consider this, consider that, and my survival, my very sense of being okay feels threatened, and I feel like I need to make up for that because I don't know, and I need to know, and I need to think, and I need to find some sort of conclusion or some way of feeling less insecure, unaccepted, rejected, unsure. Because wherever you stand, there's uncertainty. And in my attempts to find some sort of conclusion or some sort of sense of knowing or opinion, it never can feel like it's enough. Because I can always consider that opinion. There's always more information. There's always seems to be more perspective. That's kind of the nature of it. And it leaves me feeling kind of insecure because I have an assumption that I will find security as such. And I notice I can think, I can be considerate, I can take in information, and I can do that without being so desperately attached and so in need, perhaps. And I think a lot of it is the way my own psychology relates to it. And it gets to the point sometimes of being very uncomfortable, perhaps. And it's hard for me to always respond because I have these sorts of feelings, these sort of introjected judgments and internalized sort of feelings and stuff, and they weigh on me. I feel like I am not enough. I feel judgmented. I feel judged. I feel fragile and scared and unsure, and it can make it very hard to be practical in life sometimes. And in moments like these, I find it so hard to, because I can notice it's happening, and I can know reasonably that for my own purposes of responding to this importance of the world, of what I see as my duty towards education, towards understanding, towards consideration, towards opinion, towards authentic organization of my own intuitive feelings and instincts towards life, towards what's happening, this sense of urgency, of distraction, of unmoderation is not practical or conducive to that, because it results in black and white thinking, it results in emotional compensation and various other things that I notice in myself that aren't very helpful, but it is totally a mechanism of mine. And I can just notice how distracted and miserable and separated and unloving it can make me sometimes. Like, I'll be at work and I'll just be listening to things in my earbuds in my own little world, and I feel almost solipsistic sometimes. That's a bit of a stretch, but you can just be so locked into a perspective, into like your own little world there, of needing to know what's right, what's wrong, what you think, what others think, what's happening in the world, what everything is. And it can be very exclusive. It can be very isolating. And I think that, we can talk about this and that with the way our information is organized, the way we access information, the way we access our collective, our society, the way we are in these times. And you can point towards that. I just find it, especially being so caught up in it, so engaged with it, it can really weigh on me, and it's something I really want to work on a bit more. And it can be hard to always hold the nuance, to really adhere to my own ideals, to my own freedom, my own preferences, and to accept the fact that not everyone's going to like you, that you don't always know, that you might make people feel bad, that you might hurt people, you might hurt yourself, you might not know, you might make mistakes. And without